Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My dear students, welcome to your 12th class and for your Phonetics course. And today, after we have discussed together in the last class the third part of stress, and I want to remind you that you need to study the three classes carefully. Okay? Study the rules. Try to understand them, try to put some examples, try to memorize the words I have already given you, and try to understand why the stress is happening right here. Okay, explain to yourself. For today, as I've promised you, we will talk about intonation and sound linking, and these two are as important as stress. They are as important as stress. So please pay your attention and try to understand what does intonation mean and what does sound linking mean. For today is going to be a very theoretical class, and I promise next classes is going to be practical class. I'm talking about intonation and sound linking. A practical class, it means we will have kind of exercises and practices. And I want to remind you, in our final class, we will actually review the whole main points in this course. And I want you to focus on the final class to do well in your final test. So I will give you some hints or maybe directions how and what to do in the final test, and what to study and where to focus. So please wait us to for our 14th class to enjoy discussing with us the final review for the course. First of all, intonation. Improving sentence intonation is one of the key elements in your English pronunciation. Let's discuss the four basic types of word stress that lead to proper intonation in English. Intonation, when you say intonation, you're talking about the music of the sentence. The music of the sentence, where your voice should go up and where it should go down, where it should be neutral. So this is what we call intonation. Sometimes your voice goes up, sometimes your voice goes down in a sentence while you speak a sentence. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes in neutral. So this is what we call intonation, the music of the language. For example, in a questioning, the intonation when you ask a question in English, it's different from the intonation when you say a sentence. When you ask a question, your voice usually goes up at the end. Where are you from? Where are you from? لاحظوا إنه your voice goes up till the end. I'm from Jordan. I'm from Jordan. So your voice intonation is actually in neutral. So let us now see the four different or basic types of intonation. Okay. We have here tonic stress. Tonic stress refers to the syllable in a word which receives the most stress in an intonation unit. Even tonic stress refers to the syllable in a word which receives the most stress in an intonation unit. And you should know an intonation unit has only one tonic stress. It's important to remember that a sentence can have more than one intonation unit and therefore have more than one tonic stress. Here are some examples of intonation units with tonic stress bolded. He's waiting for his friend. He's waiting for his friend at the station. فلاحظوا هذا ما نسميه tonic stress. He's waiting for his friend and he's waiting for his friend at the station. هذه الكلمات waiting, friend, station, all of these are called content words. And usually the content words are verbs, ممكن يكونوا verbs أو nouns أو adjective. However, he is, for, his, at, the, كل هذه بنسميها structure words. Structure words. And usually those who receive the most stress in an intonation unit are content words. They are called content words. Generally, the final tonic stress is in a sentence receive the most stress. مثل station. Usually the final هذه بنسميها مثل station هذه بنسميها intonation unit. It comes at the last end, so we call it a final intonation unit. And usually the final tonic stress in a sentence receives the most stress. In the above example, or in the previous one, station receives the strongest stress. There are a number of instances in which the stress changes from this standard. Here are short explanation for each of the changes with example sentence to illustrate. So the previous one was one of the examples, and for next class we will talk about these number of examples. Okay, so today let us just focus on the theoretical side. For next class we will talk about we will discuss the practical side of these rules. The second part of the stress is called emphatic stress. If you decide to emphasize something, you can change the stress from the principal noun to another content word, such as an adjective, like big, difficult, or intensifier, like very, extremely. This emphasis calls attention to the extraordinary nature of what you want to emphasize. فهذا بنسميه emphatic stress. وممكن يتغير هذا الemphatic stress من principal noun لadjective. مثلا لاحظوا هذه الجملة: that was a difficult test. That was difficult test. هذا standard statement. لكن إذا كنت أنا بدي أركز على صعوبة الامتحان مش على الامتحان نفسه, I should say that was a difficult test. هذا بنسميه emphatic stress. That was a difficult stress. That was a difficult stress test. This is, we emphasizes how difficult the test was. So can you see now the difference between standard statement and so this is what we call emphatic stress. And you can decide the emphatic stress by yourself. It depends where you want to put the stress. For example, if you look at this example, مثلا, she is a clever professor. at KFU. You can say, she's a clever professor at KFU. Oh, she's a clever professor at KFU. هذا ما بنسميه emphatic stress. It depends where you want to focus. Sometimes you want to pay attention to the word KFU, so you need to stress it emphatically. Okay? There are a number of adverbs and modifiers which tend to be used to emphasize in sentences that receive emphatic stress. Extremely, terribly, completely, utterly, specially, etc. So all of these adverbs, they are modifiers which tend to be used to emphasize something. This is an extremely beautiful. This is extremely beautiful. لاحظوا كيف extremely عملت عندي emphatic stress. The third part is called contrastive stress. Contrastive stress is used to point out the difference between one object and another. Okay, to uncover the difference between one thing and another. Contrastive stress tends to be used with determiners such as this, that, these, those. For example, I think I prefer this color. Do you want this, or do you want these or those curtains? لاحظوا الcontrastive things. Contrastive stress. Do you want these or those curtains? Do you like apple or tomato? For example, do you like apple or orange? So wherever you put the contrastive stress, it means that you want to pay attention to the stressed words, to the stress intonation unit. Do you like English or Arabic? فلاحظوا الستريس وين جاءت على الأرابيك, because the last intonation unit receives the strongest stress. So, have you got the idea now? Contrastive stress is also used to bring out a given word in a sentence, which will also slightly change the meaning. So, it's used to bring out a given word in a sentence, which will also slightly, a little bit, change the meaning. مثلا, he came to the party yesterday. It was he, not someone else. He came to the party yesterday. He came. لاحظوا كيف الآن الموقف اللي بضع نفسي فيه. He came to the party yesterday. So I focused on he. It was him, not someone else. بينما الثانية. He walked to the party yesterday. He walked rather than drove. Okay? He walked to the party yesterday. أو ممكن أحكي he came to the party yesterday. So it was a party, not a meeting or something else. So he came to the party. He came to the party yesterday. Oh, he came to the party yesterday. He came to the party yesterday. So you want to focus and to say it was yesterday, not 2 weeks ago or some other time. This is what we call contrastive stress. And the final one is called a new information stress. When you ask a question like the requested information is naturally stressed more strongly. Where are you from? I come from Seattle in the US. I come from Amman in Jordan. What do you want to do? I want to go bowling. When does the class begin? the class begins at 9 o'clock. هذا بنسميه new information stress. So we use these various types of stress to help improve your pronunciation and comprehension or understandability. So you need to know all of these four kind of stresses. We have talked about tonic stress, we have talked about emphatic stress, and then we have talked about the contrastive stress, and the final one was a new information stress. So please try to understand these type of stresses. And now let us move to the other part of the second part of this class, and we are going to talk about linking. And linking is one of the easiest way to use to understand and comprehend the speeches of Native Americans. Some of you, they say, how do Americans speak? Native English speakers have ways of naturally transitioning from word to a word, a concept to a concept. This is what we call linking. إذا linking اللي هي the natural transition from one word to another word. So this is what we call transition. Okay? A natural transition from one word to another. This is what we call linking. One of the first obstacles a language learns first in listening comprehension is in understanding individual words when many whole sentences are said at natural speed. It is difficult for even students with excellent vocabulary and grammar to unlike the words that native speakers naturally hook together in their regular pronunciation patterns. Even when this is overcome, a listener can confidently understand a native speaker of English. The skill of learning to link words in his or her own speaking often does not naturally occur. So this is a very important concept. Some of you, why do Americans speak rapidly? Because they naturally transition from, when they speak, they naturally transition from one word to another. Okay? And one of the obstacles that the non-native speakers have or face is listening comprehension. How can I understand the other or the native speaker? How do I understand them? We may understand individual words, but when it comes to a whole speech, we could not follow up. Even for those students who have a lot of vocabularies or grammar, they may not be able to understand or comprehend the native speakers. Well, linking will help you, as it helped me in the past, it will help you to understand and comprehend them. The failure to fluidly link words together is not likely to cause the same miscommunication as incorrectly producing sounds. However, the payoffs for learning how to link are significant. So, they are significant. Even if two speakers use identical vocabulary and grammar, when speaking to a native listener, the speaker with more fluid linking will be perceived as more fluent as a result of that subtle second little bit of communication. Have you got the idea now? So if you link words together, the native speakers will perceive your message as more fluent as more than the other one. So you need to be able to link words together. In dialogue, words are continually linked together until there is a reason to pause. These pauses happen where there is happen where there is the spoken equivalent of a comma or a period in the sentence. We can also add a pause into a sentence to add emphasis. To begin, we will practice linking just a couple of words at a time. While the general concept of linking requires blending one word into the next, blending, this is easier said than done. Linking words together often requires saying sounds together that do not naturally occur together within words. For a student who has probably been taught to speak English by carefully studying and learning the pronunciation of individual words distinctly, this is decidedly non-intuitive. The essence of linking is to provide a bridge sounds between individual words. The essence of linking is to provide bridge sounds between individual words, using the last and the first sounds of the adjacent words as a foundation. Vowels are not blended when linking. As you can see, vowels are not blended when linking. With vowels, an extra sound is placed between the words to keep both words clear and understandable. As I read, all of these are theories, okay? As I told you, this is theoretical class. Just pay attention to my reading and to what we are reading. So vowels are not blended when linking. With vowels, an extra sound is placed between the words to keep both words clear and understandable. It is normal to have difficulty with linking and blending. The number of possible combination of sounds is immense, and it's almost impossible to practice every possible combination. For this reason, we'll practice linking and blending within a group of sounds, and we will need to learn or review some linguistics vocabulary first to help us. And this is what we are going to do maybe at the end of this class and the class to come. To sum up, هذا ملخص الأشياء. The techniques for transitioning from word to word are called linking. هذا اللي بدي تفهموه بشكل أساسي. This is what we are going to discuss in our practical class. That to transition from one word to another is called linking. For example, if you look at this example, tea and cheese. ما حكيت tea and cheese. لما حكيت tea and cheese. tea and cheese. لاحظوا هذه حذفت، هذه أدمجت مع هذه، الآن أدمجت مع السي. هذا ما نسميه linking. tea and cheese. tea and cheese. هناخذ بعض الحالات اللي بحصل فيها اللينكينج في هذه المحاضرة أيضا والمحاضرة القادمة إن شاء الله. So I have just posted this example to understand what I am talking about. I'm talking about linking words together. I'm talking about how can we transition or transit from one word to another. I'm talking about how can we speak rapidly and accurately like Americans. So linking, it seems easy, but it actually needs a lot of work, and we are going to do these the work to understand the whole process of linking. Linking consonants and vowels in American English pronunciation. Consonants and vowels comprise the two largest categories of sounds in English, right? Vowels are the sounds created by the letters A, E, I, O, and U. The main vowels, like in this course we have talked about 44 vowels, right? We have talked about the vowels, the regular vowels, and then we have talked about the triphthongs, the diphthongs, and the triphthongs. So total is nearly 44 vowels. The letters W and Y also commonly create vowel sounds. And any word that ends in the letters W or Y ends in a vowel sound. Okay? Any word that ends in letters with W or Y, letters أنا بحكي, it ends in a vowel sound. Like follow, follow. انتهت هذه الكلمة في W لكن the sound is O. Follow. Okay? Fly. Okay? Roy. فهي تحتوي على E. E كلها هذه, or I, sorry. All of these are vowel sounds. Blending consonants with vowels is one of the easiest sorts of links for non-native speakers. To link a consonant sound to a vowel sound, the consonant sound is shared by both words. It sounds like the consonant is both the last sound of the first word and as the first sound of the following word. To link, لتربط بين حرف ساكن وحرف علة, the consonant sound is shared by both words. اللي هو الحرف الساكن بيكون مشترك ما بين كلمتين, بيكون هو نهاية كلمة وبداية كلمة أخرى أو لاحقة. Now listen to the phrases wake up, and my seat. Notice that there is no pause between the words. ما في وقف. There is no pause. In fact, the middle consonant sound is shared so perfectly with both the first and the second words that we cannot hear from this limited context a difference between that we cannot hear from this limited context. لاحظوا, wake up, wake up. هذه wake up معناتها اصحى. wake up اللي هي الطريق إلى الكأس, لكن تلفظ في نفس الطريقة. wake up, wake up. فالكي كأنها هي نهاية كلمة wake وبداية كلمة up, ونفس الشيء هي wake up السي كانت نهاية الكلمة الأولى وبداية الكلمة الثانية. my seat, my seat, وهنا نفس الشيء. mice eat يعني الفأر يأكل أو الفئران تأكل, بينما my seat في الثانية اللي هو كرسي. فلاحظوا, they have the same pronunciation but they are actually different phrases. How do the Native Americans differentiate between them, between these two similar or four similar phrases? How can they do it? It depends on the context. Okay, تعتمد على السياق. لاحظتوا كيف ما أجمل اللينكينج في الإنجليزي؟ wake up, wake up and wake up. my seat and my seat. ما حكيت mice eat, ما كان في وقف بيناتهم, ولا قلت wake up, ما كان في بيناتهم, وما حكيت wake up. Okay, wake up, wake up. my seat, my seat. So this is how can we link phrases together. Wake up and wake up sound exactly the same when properly linked. Although this may seem ambiguous, يعني unclear, native speakers are used to differentiating based on context, مثل ما حكينا. The K sound links the words in the same way, regardless if the K sound is the last sound of the first word or the first sound of the second word. My seat and my seat are also pronounced identically because the consonant sound, the S sound, is shared equally between both words in both the phrases. Linking a. The word a is usually said as a schwa. تذكر الشوا. A. And sounds much like the short a sound unless it is base emphasized in a sentence for some reason. To link the word a between two consonant sounds, there should be no silent gap between the word a and the words that surround it. It will sound like it is a single longer word instead of two or more distinctly separate words. Linking the word the. The word the is the fourth most frequent word in spoken English. إذا حدثنا عن وحناخذ أمثلة إن شاء الله في المرات القادمة عن مسألة تطبيقها، لكن مثل ما حكينا هذا تكون theoretically speaking. Linking the word the word the is the fourth most frequent word in speaking English. In addition to the troubles many languages have with the voice the sound at the beginning of the word, the vowel at the end of the word the has a three different pronunciation depending on the first sound of the word that it follows it. the إذا ممكن إذا ذا إلها أكثر من لفظ في الإنجليزية، وهذا يعتمد حسب موقعها حسب ما يتبعها، سواء كان حرف ساكن أو حرف علة بدون إي long إي أو ذا تلحقها إي قصيرة أو عفوا إي طويلة. أول قاعدة the consonant. Linking the to a word that begins with a consonant sound requires saying the vowel as a very quick schwa. كيف بتكون عبارة عن schwa إذا جاء ما بعديها consonant. An unstraight vowel sound which sounds like a short sounds, and linking it with the next word. Say the word the with almost no vowel sounds at all. Now خلينا نسمع the dog the dog. لاحظوا بعد the جاءت حرف ساكن، فكيف the نهايتها طلعت شوى. the dog أصبحت كلمة واحدة. the dog, the biscuit, the dog ate the biscuit, the dog ate the biscuit. فأصبحت the الإي اللي بعديها شوى، وذلك لأنها تبعها حرف ساكن في الكلمة الثانية. القاعدة الثانية إذا جاء بعد the vowel, linking the to a word that begins with a vowel sound except long E requires pronouncing the final sound of the word as pronouncing the final sound of the word the as a long E. A long E حكينا هو the vowel sound in the word keep، هذا معناتها long E. فإذا ما جاء the بعدها حرف علة ما عدا حرف الإي تلفظ وكأنها إي. مثلا طلعوا the afternoon كلمة ابتدأت بحرف علة أصبحت فيها لما عملنا linking أصبحت the afternoon، بينما في القاعدة الأولى كانت شوى. the opti لأن الأو هنا vowel فأصبحت الإي كأنها إي كأنها في كلمة keep. The optometrist took the afternoon of. The optometrist took the afternoon of. Okay. فلاحظوا استخدمنا the وحكينا في القاعدة الثانية the. أما القاعدة الثالثة the ملحوقة في long E مثل ما شفنا في كلمة keep. Linking that to a word that begins with a long vowel E requires pronouncing the final sounds in the word that as a schwa. إذا بنلفظها as a schwa, then linking it smoothly to the following word. This is very similar to the linking the consonant, the emotions, the emotions. مع أنه جاءت بعديها حرف علة، لكن هذا الحرف العلة emotion، emotion حرف علة long E، هذا long E، long E. فهذه إذا جاء بعد ذا long E تلفظ كشوا مثل القاعدة الأولى. The emotion, the emotion, the emotion of the enormous catastrophe were strong. أما في النقطة linking continuous consonant in American English pronunciation. الآن نتحدث عن continuous consonants. Fricative, nasal, glide, and liquid sounds are all similar types of sounds in that they are all continuous consonant sounds. شو يعني they are the same from beginning to end. هذا معنى continuous consonant sounds. إنه they are the same from beginning to end. Fricative, nasal, glide, and liquid sounds are all similar types of sounds in that they are continuous consonant sounds. يعني they are the same from beginning to end. Linking the same continuous sounds, consonants. In American English pronunciation, when one word ends with the same continuous consonant sound as the next word begins with, the sound is only said one time and shared with both words. مثلا الآن هذه enough food انتهت في F وهذه بدأت في F، هذا بنسميه continuous consonant. enough food، الآن في هذه الحالة ما بحكي enough food بعمل pause، لا، الأف هذه تصبح واحدة وتصبح هذه وكأنها كلمة واحدة. enough food was some more لاحظوا هذا ما نسميه continuous consonant. enough food was some more. In the phrases enough food and was some more, there is no pause between the words. In fact, the middle consonant sound is shared so perfectly with both the first and the second words that we cannot tell that the consonants occurred twice. Do not let different spelling for the sounds confuse you, by the way. Okay? Listen to this dialogue between Sequed and Wilma. Notice the same fricative links. Do we have enough food for the party? Yeah, but Henry wants some more ice. There is enough for each glass, for each glass to be half full. Half full. Enough for. Linking different continuous consonants. When linking different continuous consonant sounds, one should sound blend into the next with no break between words and without accidentally adding an extra vowel sounds between the words. Because these sounds often do not occur next to each other within words, it may take extra practice at first to smoothly join these words together. Listen to these. Because she, fresh fruit, fresh fruit. So we link here different continuous consonant sounds. One sound should blend to the next with no break between words and without accidentally adding an extra vowel sounds between the words. مثل because she, fresh fruit. مع أنه هي different continuous consonant لكن we can blend them together. In the phrases because she and fresh fruit, there is no pause between the words. The consonant sounds blends evenly and smoothly from one sound to the next. لاحظوا هذا المثال. It's still snowing. Still snowing, isn't it? No, it is still raining now. Raining now. To sum up, because the fricative, nasal, glide, and equal sounds are continuous, they can blend smoothly from one sound to the next. No silent gaps or additional vowel sounds should get added between linked continuous consonants. Linking from the letter T in American English pronunciation. The letter T is one of the most versatile letters in English pronunciation. In American English, there are 4 common pronunciation used for the letter T. There are huge variation of the pronunciation of the letter T among the different large English dialect groups, British, Australian, and American. The rules listed here cannot be used as guides for any dialects other than American English pronunciation. And I'm focusing here because I graduated from America, by the way. So you need to focus on the, here we are only talking about American English pronunciation. Basically, the letter T can sound like a regular T sound, as in the word time. T عادي. بينما ممكن sound like a quick D sound, as in the word little, little. وممكن become a glottal stop, as in the word partner, partner. ولكأنها ملفوظة, partner. والرابعة, it can be ignored and have no sound at all, مثل center, center, center point, center point. فلاحظوا هاي الأربع حالات لحرف التي. هنحدث عن هذه الأشياء بالتفصيل عن هذه بالمحاضرة القادمة إن شاء الله. And all of these things will be continued inshallah. Next class we'll be having a lot of examples about all of these theories. So please study these theories again and again. We have read a lot of text today, and I want you now to understand it. Although we have a few examples, next class we'll be having more examples to understand the rules. Thank you so much for listening. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.